basically with the first card that I already got out, it's kind of like a lot of people, like it's like almost basically it's almost like an out of body experience for some people right now, man, because basically we said that this was going to be a year of transformation, and the fire horse is present here. And I think it's actually really beautiful, because when the fire horse comes in, it's about purification. It's about you literally standing up for what you believe, following in the footsteps of what you believe to be true, in a sense. But the way that they're showing it is like, this is it's an opportunity right now with this message and with this energy to realize that we're purging a lot of things. Things are coming from the heart. We're actually picking up on things that we really deeply desire or we're passionate about, and kind of like losing focus on the things that are really distracting to us, or the things that pain or ail us. And this is that realization that is like, wait a minute. I don't really have to, as much as I can tune into everything, and as much as I can sense everything, and as much as I know that is happening in my life that kind of like wants to keep me in a box, I don't care. And then somehow you release the limitation of what the day has presented for you, because you realize, wait, I don't have to care about these things that might be keeping me somewhere where I don't belong type of energy. You know what I'm saying? So this is like that harsh realization, is what Spirit just said about wielding the sword and knowing what you're fighting for and what you're fighting against, because it could be just you in that aspect. And I believe that mirror is true, is what Spirit just said when it comes to this stuff, because we're going through a rebirth, man. The Empress card is here, but we're stepping up to the plate, and we're actually realizing that this is a time, the release, spring cleaning, these things happen naturally. But a lot of us have been tended these things, so it's a little more forceful in our lives, and it might seem uncomfortable and unpleasant. But also at the same time, we realize that now we learn how to be comfortably uncomfortable without even having to practice it, just becoming aware of it, of what's actually happening. Is that a lot of us are becoming more used to being uncomfortable, because it's literally allowing us to relieve ourselves of our flaws, or speak the things that we need to see in existence about what might be keeping us in a certain area, what we're meant to heal, what we're meant to release, surrender, or accept, right? When it comes to the truth. And these are all emotional aspects of ourselves that we're being asked to kind of like review or monitor, in a sense, in one way or another, to realize that there is a more passionate you that is going through a rebirth or a becoming process, which is really important for us spiritual beings having these experiences, to know what's in tune for them, what's happening, to make them more self-aware of what's happening in the background that you might not be paying attention to. But now that we're talking about it, you realize, hey, okay, yes, this is happening. I feel things literally coming up from within me in some way or another, or I'm having thoughts of something that just doesn't seem right anymore, and I don't even know why I'm associated with it. So all these things are getting pulled out, and it almost seems like there's a lot of strings that are attached, right? And these things are coming undone, because now we're in a more willingful state to realize that we're just not meant to hold this baggage to go where we're meant to go, to do what we want to do, to be what we're meant to be. And that's God's honesty. You know what I'm saying? And it's again a humbling fact, right? That doesn't take away from the fire of the day, the energy of the day, the business, the responsibility, the duty, the accountability. It doesn't take anything away from that. It's just a humble realization that gives you the fire, the inspiration, the motivation, and the energy to continue to do what it is that you're passionate about. Things that you've been putting on the back burner, really intensify that intention towards those things, and understand the more you're doing that, you're already doing the work. So the more you're doing that, the more these things are being pulled away, because they no longer align with where you're headed. You know what I'm saying? So in essence, it's almost like, people might feel like they're lethargy, walking through the mud, a little slow, what the fuck is going on type of shit. And that's the change. That's the void of the change, where you realize that you have made a decision. Are you going to honor that decision and continue to follow in those footsteps of that decision? Or are you going to fall back to somewhere where you don't belong, right? And this is the beauty of promise. It's what was just said by the Creator. The beauty of promise within oneself is to give oneself the promise and then enact it, right? And if you don't know what that means, you actually live it. But it almost seems backwards sometimes, because of the way that our mind works. It can, like, it almost seems like a con job in one way or another. It's like, no, that can't be real. That can't have that much promise. And then you just realize that the only thing that you're bumping up against is the fact that you've limited yourself to believe that, right? So when you really, so when you release that, and as I'm saying, as you release that, the Fool card comes out, bro. It's a new bag for a lot of people. This is also with the Empress energy. You know, it's like rebirth. You're on a new level of existence. You're in a new level of awareness. You're in a new purification process. You know, these might things might be happening, you know, right now, this instant, or it has been happening over time. And it's almost like a get ready for a release, get ready for a disassociation with the system, you know, is what they're saying here. So, you know, for those of you who have been aching or crying or kind of like, when is this going to be over? Because my soul is fucking tired and I'm getting, you know what I'm saying? And it almost makes us feel weak. It's like, no, continue to pour into yourself. You're doing fine. Don't give up now, because that's usually when you're on the precipice of something, is when you think that, oh, this isn't going to work, or this isn't for me, or maybe I'm just not meant for this reality, is what I'm saying. You know, the excuses that we like to make to keep us in places where we don't belong, and we're rising above that. This is that passion and fire that's coming out of a lot of people's chests, to just show them that they can, that they will, if they, you know what I'm saying, if they have faith and commitment to what they wholeheartedly believe in, because that's the Creator's promise. And this is the systematic process of energy, how we manifest in all those things, becoming, you know, more aware of how those things work in their lives to better affect their lives, you know, and to enact changes, get over distractions, protect themselves, all those things that, you know, we teach in one way or another, you know. And that's the beauty of the promise that is available to you with this energy, because it gives you the variety and understand that, hey, dude, things are working in your favor. But like, you have to do it. You have to become a part of it. You have to embody that. You have to be it, right? The representative of what you truly believe is what you are, right? You know, we know that from past spaces, but also now in a future space where we actually get to manipulate energy and actually alchemize energy and create a better life for ourselves in one way or another, or follow God's promise, whichever path you're on. You know what I'm saying? For those things that you've been looking for, basically, is right there in front of your face. Which one do you want to pick? And that's what I feel is going on with this message. You know, it's a beautiful, for the people in the room, this is a beautiful opportunity that not everyone gets this message or receives it or understands it. But if you truly do, then you know what's meant for you, because it's something inside of you that calls to you. It's something you can feel. It's something that you can sense, you know. There's no mistaking it. You know what I'm saying? And if you are questioning what you feel, then understand that you're questioning something that you're meant to feel, right? And this is the beauty of intuition. You know, this is what the study teaches us, you know, for those of you who are fucking into not playing mind games anymore, not fucking with people, you know what I'm saying? And or missing the mark and not being able to intuitive, like, hone your intuition to know exactly what the fuck is going on. So that way you don't get lost, or you don't get distracted, or you don't end up in a rut. You know, we have those, we have Soul Counsel, we have a lot of services available, and we also have mentorship for those spaces. But see, here's what the beauty of the unseen here is like, we don't know that we're masterful in a sense, you know, when it comes to these things, that we have the ability to do the things that we're meant to do, to believe in that there is a higher path, to believe that there is a divine path, and that God's honor is for all of us, right? It's something that, you know, you deeply know within yourself, that it's something that you're willing, either willing or not willing to commit to, because it's true. It's like it, the way that they almost show it to me is like, oh shit, okay, God is real. I have proof, but now I'm scared. You know what I'm saying? And that's what this energy feels like. You know, it's like a lot of intuitive and sensitives out there are kind of like going through the mind wandering right now. You know, a great time to ground, you know, and not be all up in your head. This is a new energy. This is a new way of being. And for those of you who truly understand and what resonates with, who resonate with this message, understand that this is part of the divine plan. It's part of the divine process, and it's all meant for you in one way or another. And show it a little bit of gratitude, you know? And that's what I have with this message. It's very beautiful, man, but it's not, like I said, again, it's not meant for everybody. What's up, Christy? Welcome in. The Spirit said, give you something to believe in.